Hey everyone, okay, so I still have a bruise. I know, but that's not going to stop the tutorial. So today I'm going to be talking about contouring and why I'm not a fan of contouring underneath the cheekbone. Now, I want to kind of explain it. Now, before I get on, if you're doing anything in this video that contradicts anything I'm saying, then it's not because I hate it. This is just a difference of a different opinion. And please don't stop doing anything or think I'm telling you to stop doing something. I'm not. I'm just trying to give an explanation as to why I'm not a fan of certain things. Generally speaking, when you contour underneath the cheekbone, so let's just say here, right? You're doing it to give the illusion of more structure to the face, as in a stronger cheekbone area. So a more angular cut here. And that makes perfect sense. The problem is when everything else goes on top of it. So we don't tend to just contour, we tend to do blusher and highlighter as well as the contour, and sometimes we even add bronzer in. And this is where the problem lies. If you're contouring underneath foundation, this is much less of a problem with cream products because you're already blending all of those areas to begin with. So it ends up looking more like dimension on the face than it does a true contour. But when you're doing a powder contour, you're trying to cut right across your cheek. Then you add blusher. Now, let's just say, for example, here is the contour. So we're going to add contour to the underneath the cheekbone. Now, next we add blusher. Now, blusher would go just above that, right? So we were now adding another line. And then, of course, we would add highlighter, which sits on top. And the problem is you have this Neapolitan ice cream effect going on your face where you've got this brown, this pink, or whatever blusher color you've picked, and then this highlighter color. Now, even though you're going to blend those, you've still got these three distinct colors sort of melding into one and giving this, I think, this muddy appearance to the skin. But then there's a whole school of thought of other people who might be thinking, well, okay, well, what if I just contour under the cheekbone and then apply blusher more to the sort of in a circular motion in the apple of the cheek? Well, the problem with that is that you've then created a cut here. So you've created this angle with the contour, but then you're creating a circle. So can you see how angles make sense? So if you're constantly going at an angle, at least that makes sense. But then you've got an angle and then a circle, and the two don't match well together in the face because you're trying to make the face look more angular by contouring under the cheekbone. But then you're adding a roundness, and a round application of blusher tends to widen the face. So the two don't really go well together, which is why I'm a fan of sculpting blushers. And by sculpting a blush, all you're doing is, and you're not going under the cheekbone. You can if you want, but it's a bit 80s. But by angling the blush and in a sculpting technique, you're actually cutting the top part of the cheekbone. So the color starts at the back and bleeds in as it comes forward, and it tends to stop, depending on your face shape, around about the outside corner of the eye here. And what that does is it gives the illusion of sharpness, of stronger cheekbones, but without going underneath the actual contour line. So here. So you tend to be going above this area to create this cut. And I just really like the way that looks. If you look at, I tell you who's the really good example of this is, look at the 10 looks by Charlotte Tilbury that she's done, particularly the slightly stronger looks. So not the ingenue, but Dolce Vita, look at all the other ones. You'll notice that the blusher tends to be quite high up and is more angular because it gives us great structure to the face without you having to go to extreme lengths of contouring. It's a really nice way of applying blusher, and the way that I've always favored it, which is applying it up high on the cheekbone. Now, for those of you thinking, well, but where does blusher go? Where does highlighter go? Highlighter sits on it and just above it. And because highlighter is lighter, it blends in with it. So your highlighter is going to go slightly over the blush and then just a fraction above it. And this way you've got this medley of color because light tends to blend well into other colors. But when you're trying to blend dark and bright and light, it can get muddy very quickly. So your highlighter sits just on and above the blusher. But give it a go. Let me know what your thoughts are, and let me know in the description bar how you feel about this technique, and or if you're doing a different technique that makes much more sense to you, let me know in the comment section below, or if you just disagree, you can let me know too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.